Hey everyone, welcome to Tuesday Tips. I'm Marin here at Grow Schools talking about what school leaders are dealing with right now, all the things that might be keeping them up at night. I have Carla and Alex with me from Avela. Hi, y'all.
Hello.
Hello, thanks
Thanks
for
for
having
being here. Yeah, thanks for being here. We've got a lot to kind of dive into. I was hoping though if you could take a second before we do that and just tell us a little bit about Avela, and then we'll get into it.
Sure thing. Avela is an end-to-end enrollment management system built for K-12 districts and charter schools. We cover everything from school discovery and applications to lotteries and wait lists and registration. And we really have designed the platform to be equitable and accessible, easy for families to complete their process, and easy for admins as well.
So can you talk about, you surveyed these 500 families about their school enrollment experience. What was surprising when you talked to them that you heard from these folks?
You are right. We surveyed 500 families earlier in 2026, and really with the goal of understanding what the parent perspectives on enrollment is, and to get a bit more detail on their experience, where they find issues, how they research schools, different parts of the experience that they think could be improved. And I would say there are a lot of things that stood out, but I think overall, one of the most surprising things was that we did see that over 80% of our respondents said that the enrollment experience was easy for them. And at the same time, when we dug down deeper into more detail, they all had a lot to say about where it could be improved. So there was a bit of a disconnect between the parents thinking that the experience was easy, and then also pointing out a handful of different places where the process could be better, including things like technology issues, not being mobile friendly, unclear communication, having to submit the same paperwork multiple times. And so, yeah, it was surprising to me as the person going through the data that while parents said it was easy, a lot of times it didn't mean that it was stress-free or very intuitive for parents.
I want to move on to talk about some of the actual findings. So the data shows that families that were surveyed, right, it says more research driven than network driven, with online research slightly outpacing friends and family recommendations. On our side, a lot of times word of mouth is a really strong enrollment tactic, especially if you can have, family ambassadors or things like that. So I found this really interesting. What does this mean for enrollment marketing or, enrollment processes from your perspective?
When we surveyed the parents of the district schools, that was the largest driver of where they got their information from. But then on the charter side, we did see that that parents are doing a lot more of their research online. So that to us means that a lot of the charter enrollment is increasingly won or lost digitally. And how we think about that is that charter families are actively researching their options, they're comparing schools, and they're really trying to understand the fit before they even speak with someone directly at the school. So in our minds, it means that if your website is difficult to navigate or doesn't clearly communicate like what makes your school different, what makes your school special, families might move on in the process without even applying. Yeah.
So how should schools be communicating their academic value? And maybe that's a good bridge from places like the website. How can they communicate this?
Schools should really be showing and not telling what the academic performance outcomes are. And what I mean by that is, instead of a slogan or instead of saying like, here's what you can expect, schools should really prioritize putting the actual student success metrics on the site and making it very easy to find those metrics and to understand them, whether that's test scores or college placement rates, graduation rates, or other examples of student success. There was one example that I saw that I really liked that I thought was a unique way of showing student success metrics, which was a school had a page on their website that it was pretty much just a map, an interactive map, and at the top it said, "Where are they now?" And it was to show prospective parents and maybe other people browsing where the graduates of that school were after they graduated. So it was like the a color-coded map of, hey, here's where some of our graduates have gone to college. Some of our graduates are abroad in different countries doing cool things, and I thought that was a really unique way of showing parents, hey, if you send your student to this school, the possibilities of where they will end up afterwards are of a large variety and are very exciting. And so I liked that piece a lot. It's something that some other schools could replicate if they wanted to. I will also say that one benefit of putting the student success metrics on your site rather than just saying what parents can expect is that not only does it make it easy for parents to find those concrete examples of student outcomes, but when parents are increasingly using AI tools to ask and to evaluate and compare different schools, the AI bots will go find those specific metrics and put them in the answers that they're presenting to parents. So I think overall it makes it very easy for parents to understand, for AI tools to understand, and it's just a good way of providing evidence of what's possible if you send your child to school there.
Yeah, it does seem like statistics are something AI loves to pull, and I know we talk a lot on this channel about AI as it relates to enrollment marketing, things like schema markup, having FAQs, and all the important places and all that. So I think that's a really great tip. I want to move to talk about, and this is where your sort of expertise comes in, the idea of application complexity. Was being cited as a challenge for families. Where are families getting stuck in the application process? And this can help schools as they're kind of designing the UX or the user experience side of the application. And what sort of tips could you give there?
Yeah. I think what we see, what we heard in the survey, and certainly anecdotally what we hear with our clients all the time, the two places where families feel most stuck are uploading documents. So especially if in the application process, before you even get to lottery and enrollment, et cetera, you're asking for document uploads. That's a real sticking point for a parent, right? If I am on applying on my phone, I'm on the bus, I don't have my document there to take a picture of and upload, I have to remember to come back and do it. It's a place where I'm going to hit a lot of friction. One thing that we've seen a lot of success with is, the more that you can move, keep only the essentials of what you need at the point of application. And in some cases, there will, of course, be some documents that you need to collect if you have, certain residency rules about who has priority in your lottery or who can even apply and attend your school. But the more that you can kind of backload those in the actual enrollment process and keep application really clean and simple, helps families move through it without friction. The other thing that we heard a lot in the survey was just sort of general confusion and stress just about the process. And in part, this makes sense, right? Families who are applying to charter schools are navigating not just like a much more like real application process as opposed to just registering for their neighborhood school, but they are juggling potentially multiple processes that have different timelines and different requirements. They have to remember which application needs what and what platform they're using for school A and which one for school B. It's just a lot more mental load. And so the more that you can help parents to know what to expect, to know what's coming next, to really proactively and transparently communicate with families, that goes a long way to alleviating that stress and helping the process feel just sort of more seamless for families.
The next one has to do with and it's lottery systems and wait lists. And this came up repeatedly in the feedback: frustration with wait times, lack of transparency. I think that's always a suspicion, is so-and-so's kid getting to the front of the line because they know someone, those types of things. Last minute decisions that might leave a family feeling like they don't know what to do. What's going on here from the family perspective?
Yeah. I think it's exactly what you just named, right? It's not frustration with the lottery process itself, the existence of a lottery, and much more what we heard in the survey was frustration around the uncertainty of understanding exactly that. What what are the rules? What comes next? What can I expect? And that's really scary. Uncertainty is always scary, and it's extra scary when you're thinking about your child and where they're going to go to school and the opportunities for them. Enrollment is a really emotional process for families. And I enrolled my child in charter school for this coming year, and the day of the lottery of my child's school's lottery was like the most stressed I've ever been in a 3-hour period since becoming a parent. It's just there's a lot of not knowing. So I think, when you're thinking about families and how you communicate with them, it's about setting expectations early, providing regular status updates, making sure that, whatever system you're using, you're leveraging ways to automatically update families, send periodic reminders, periodic updates. The more that you can be transparent with families, showing them where they are on the wait list, being really clear in sort of what it means to be on a wait list at your school. There are some schools and grades where if you're at position 75 on the wait list, you are likely to get an offer. There's a lot of movement and fluctuation. And other schools where if you're position 3, you're definitely not getting in because no one moves on the list. I think being really clear with families about what to expect at your school and even at your child's particular grade is really important. And families really value that transparency, just as much as the outcome. Their frustration isn't necessarily coming from whether their child's getting a seat or not, though obviously they want their child to have that seat. It's about being, treated as humans with emotions who are feeling stressed about this process.
I like to give folks an opportunity to just give any tactical tips or things that school leaders hearing this could implement right away, based on what you heard from these 500 families that you talked to.
Having your enrollment process be mobile friendly, I think, is really important in our modern age, where families have to navigate away from their mobile device to a computer to finish the process. That is a place where we have seen a lot of applications get abandoned. And put yourself in the shoes of a new parent that's wanting to apply to your school. And I would say that starts on the website. And if you are on the homepage, what's the first thing that you're looking for? Where's the apply button? Where's the enroll button? If that's not easy to see right away, that's already one hurdle that parents have to get over.
To build on that, I think the other piece that strikes me, right, is there's a hunger from parents for commonality in some ways, right? As they're doing all this research and they're managing all these different application flows, you have to know your own process and audit that, but it's also really helpful to know what your neighbors are doing.
I love all these real tactical tips you were able to share. So Carla, Alex, just thank you again so much. This is the kind of data that can genuinely, be helpful to schools and change how they're able to show up for families. If you want more from the team over here at Avela and more enrollment marketing help and other tips about school growth, you can head over to growschools.com. So thanks everyone for this conversation, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Marin.